Before the curfew starts, I need to reach the apartment. Can you see that all these benches are empty on a Saturday night? It's an old town in Europe, but this is Ukraine. Such a huge apartment in the old town for just $36. She said nobody really comes here anymore, and you came here to travel during the war. She was so shocked. There is a shelter here downstairs. Let's go and check the shelter once. Trust me, going down here feels way scarier than you'd expect. Oh man. They shut down all the counters. Everyone started looking at me like he's Indian. What should we do with him? And honestly, I had no idea what was going to happen to me. So now we've gotten off at a tram stop near Lviv's old town. And from here, we're going to walk into the old town. We'll reach our apartment. It's going to be extremely cold. And in just a few hours, the curfew will also kick in. You guys probably know that in Ukraine, the curfew timings are different in every region. In Lviv, the curfew probably starts around midnight and ends early in the morning. I think it stays in place until about 5 a.m. in Lviv. In other regions, the timings are different. In Kyiv, Odessa, and all the cities we have visited so far, there was curfew everywhere. Across the whole country at some time or in some region, there is always a curfew in place, especially during late night hours. So before the curfew starts, we need to reach our apartment. It's almost 8:30 p.m. right now. It has started drizzling a bit. Hopefully it doesn't start raining heavily again. Another tram is just passing by next to me. The one tram we took earlier was still a bit modern. The one I am seeing right now looks extremely old, like really old school. But cities where trams run right through the middle, I honestly love those kinds of cities, and you get so many public transport options. Over there, from that side, the old town is going to start. This is their old town. It actually looks quite similar to Krakow in Poland. There's a regional vibe to it too, we'll discuss that later. Look at these buildings. The old town is completely empty. And if there was no war, and today's a Saturday night, imagine this. On a Saturday night in any old town in Europe, if you're walking around and you see this kind of emptiness, this level of no crowd, then obviously it's going to be Ukraine. Just look at this. I mean, geographically, this is very close. Krakow in Poland is not that far from here. From here, it's probably just about an hour away. The Polish border city, the one I went to earlier, the border that Poland shares with Ukraine, the city from where I first tried to enter back in 2022, when the war had just started in Ukraine, that city would be around an hour to an hour and a half from here. A storm has started. As far as I remember, Lviv was not under the Russian Empire, it was under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And that's why you won't see that much Russian influence here like you do in Odessa or Kyiv, because those places used to be under Russia earlier. So yeah, like I said, you won't see that much Russian influence here in Lviv because this area was not part of the Russian Empire. Obviously, when Ukraine became a country, this became part of Ukraine. And Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, the USSR, which included many countries, basically multiple republics. But the USSR is not the same as Russia. The USSR was an organization of 15 republics, and its headquarters or capital city was Moscow. In the center, you can still see a bit of life and activity in Lviv. And in Kyiv, we honestly couldn't even expect this much. So at least there is something happening here. This is their main square, Rynok, here in Lviv. So like I was saying, if you somehow could jump from here straight to Krakow's main square, called the Rynek Główny, that too on a Saturday night, it would be completely packed with people, full of life, music, cafes buzzing, people hanging out, partying, and just enjoying the weekend vibe everywhere. But in Lviv, because there is currently a war going on in Ukraine, you can see what the situation is like. And geographically, it's so close, yet you see such massive differences. I was in Krakow just a few weeks ago on a Saturday night, and I've been to Krakow 3 or 4 times on Fridays and Saturdays. The vibe there right now, I honestly can't even explain it to you. That day I wasn't recording video, I was just transiting through, but there was such a huge crowd. The streets were completely jam-packed. People were walking around, dancing on the streets, and here it's just completely empty. And this is a weekend as well. People from nearby smaller towns and cities would normally come here to spend the weekend, and even people who work would have a day off tomorrow. Today was also a holiday, so usually people would come out on the streets to celebrate something. But this is basically their peak right now. And the cold is only gonna get worse from here. So, I honestly don't think you'll see more crowd than this here until either the winter ends or the war ends. This area is already pretty deserted. If you compare this to the center of any European old town on a Saturday night, just look at this. The benches are empty. It's Saturday night, it's an old town, it's Europe, but it's Ukraine. And all these benches are empty. You can see it, every bench is just sitting empty. Well, in this weather, who would even sit outside now? But still, if I compare this to Kyiv, this is way better. In Kyiv, there was literally nothing happening anywhere. Yesterday was Friday, basically the weekend, but still nothing at all. This at least feels like something. Compared to other places in Ukraine, the cold here has completely frozen my hands. I can barely even press the record button on my phone's camera. The app is showing the location somewhere around here. The apartment I booked was number 16, on this street itself. Oh, silly me, it was just right in front and I was looking for it. Vulova Street, house number 16, I've reached the correct place. I think the host will come here to meet me. Yeah, very cold. I've checked into my apartment. It's right in the center of the city. The building is a bit old and it's on the 4th floor. I'll show you the place. This was the entrance. We went in from here and look at this. You'll be shocked. What a property. I mean, it's a little old, sure, but look at this furniture and this carpeted bedroom. I'm staying here alone. And just look at how massive this place is. And the host was such a sweet lady. She personally brought me all the way up. She hasn't even taken the money from me yet. She said, just pay when you leave and go comfortably. If you want to check out late, you can leave late. She said she doesn't have any booking for tomorrow yet anyway. Alright, this is the bathroom. Everything inside, like the shower and all, is completely new. This is the kitchen, and they've kept snacks everywhere. In the fridge, they've even kept Ukrainian beer for you, even though I don't drink. And the heating is turned off right now. You saw in my previous videos that in Ukraine, the government hasn't started central heating yet. Their power plants have been attacked, so Ukraine is facing electricity shortages. So they've installed their own private heaters. She said the heating works, you can use it. I already showed you the view from outside the center. And look at this, we just came from that square. And this is the view from here. And how much did I pay for this apartment? You guys will be shocked. Just around $36, right in the absolute center of Lviv, in Ukraine's old town. I mean, imagine this. Such a huge apartment in Europe, in the old town, for just around $36. The reason is simple. There is a war going on here and hardly anyone is coming. There is another window from here, and from this window too you get a similar view right in the center. What an incredible property, man. Look at this. This kind of view, a full apartment right in the old town, in the absolute center of the city. But the problem is, it's nighttime, so you can't really see everything properly. In the morning, we'll get to see a lot more. Right now, things aren't very visible in the dark. This is insane. And man, she was such a sweet lady. She was saying that till date, she had never had any guest from India. You're the very first guest, and that too during the war. She was like, nobody really comes here anymore, and you came here during the war. When she was giving me the apartment tour, she first showed me the shelter downstairs in the basement. There's a shelter here. Such a sweet lady, man. She still hasn't taken the money from me and she said it's fine, just pay when you leave. She said she doesn't worry about money. And then she even complimented me a bit. She mentioned some Bollywood actors like Raj Kapoor and said it feels like some Bollywood actor has come to stay at my place from India. Really a very nice lady. She has kept candies and stuff here. In the kitchen there was food and drinks too. Curfew is going to start soon outside. Before that, let's go downstairs and grab something to eat. And guys, it's not even $35 or $30. I just talked to my host on WhatsApp. That earlier price was the booking.com rate. She said if you want to extend your stay, I'll give it to you directly for just around $12. That's roughly about $25 for this entire apartment. I mean, this property is insane. Ukraine has become unbelievably cheap in many ways. Some of you might still be thinking, okay, $25 doesn't sound that cheap compared to India. But try to understand this. If you've ever been to Europe, if you stay in a big city's old town in an apartment like this, the prices are crazy because old towns are usually the most premium areas. Let's take Krakow as an example, which is just a few hours from here. If you take an apartment like this in Krakow's old town, it would easily be around $100 to $180 per night, maybe even more. And if you go further into Western Europe, the same apartment could be $200, maybe even $250 or more per night. Before all the food places close, let's head out quickly, otherwise the curfew will start and we won't get anything to eat. It's an old building and there is a shelter downstairs. Let's go and check the shelter once just to see how it actually looks. This is the shelter. Oh man, honestly, this is giving me very spooky vibes. Trust me, going down here feels way scarier than you'd expect. Nope, I'm not going in right now. Let's eat first, then we'll come back and check it out. Oh damn, it's drizzling now. I didn't even bring an umbrella. This street is completely empty. A few people are starting to come from the other side. I'm not sure what's on this street. It's still pouring a lot here. I did find a healthy restaurant, but I think we've gone past it and it's behind us. One more thing I've already mentioned in my previous videos. Since most of the men in this country are in the army right now, you'll mostly see women on the streets. Even otherwise, if you look at these former Soviet countries, their population is usually skewed. The gender ratio is a bit imbalanced. There are generally more women than men. And in Ukraine, because of the war, most young men above the age of around 25 have been drafted into the military. So you won't see many men around because most of them are currently serving in the army. I mean, you're basically only seeing women on the streets. You hardly see any men. Out of 10 people, maybe you'll see one guy. Otherwise, it's all women. And a lot of women have already left the country as well. Men are not allowed to leave the country, but women are allowed. Even after so many women have already left, you still see a lot on the streets here. I had found this restaurant called Avocado, but it's already closed. If nothing works out, there's a bar ahead where people are standing, probably drinking alcohol. So maybe I'll find something there. I'm standing here in the rain, and my clothes are already soaked. In just a few minutes, everything will shut down because of the curfew. So now we don't really have many options to choose from. Whatever food we find, we'll have to eat that. Let's see if we can find something decent that's still open. There's this one restaurant here. Let's just go into this one, Churrasco. The reviews look really good. It also looks kind of busy inside. Our food is here now and man, it's really cheap. I scanned their menu from this QR and ordered from there. Everyone around is drinking alcohol. It's Saturday night after all. But I ordered ginger tea with pineapple. The main course hasn't even arrived yet. I ordered some kind of chicken kebab. Let's see how it is. And this ginger tea was just around $2 to $3. If you compare this to the rest of Europe, like I've said many times, if you sit in an old town restaurant and eat like this anywhere else, your bill would be several times higher. My chicken kebab has arrived too. Let's eat quickly and head out because I also need to go to a grocery store to buy some milk. Otherwise, everything's about to shut down soon. About $13 got deducted from my account. In that, I had a starter, that pineapple thing, the main course chicken, and tea as well. So for around $13, I had a full dinner in Europe and was totally satisfied with the meal. Everything feels very inexpensive value-wise, especially after traveling through other parts of Europe and then coming here during the war. Everything is just empty, you get service instantly, there's nowhere that feels crowded or overpacked. Everything is available. You can pretty much do whatever you want, obviously only the things that are still open. But a lot of cafes and businesses have already shut down because of the war. It's night now, around 10:40 p.m. The curfew will start in about 1 hour and 20 minutes. And almost all businesses are already closed. But you can still see flowers being sold here on a Saturday night. I'm looking for a supermarket. I can see one over there that might still be open, so I can buy water and milk. Not sure if this is a mall or what this place is, but the supermarket is showing inside this complex. Inside it shows that the mall is here, but it's already after working hours, so everything is closed because the curfew is about to start. But down here, this supermarket is still open and it looks pretty busy for this time of night. This is huge, man. It feels like their main supermarket. They have everything here. My groceries were completely finished. That's why I had to eat outside today. Let's grab some stuff. On one side, you had that kind of area in Kyiv. And on the other side, here in Lviv, you have this dessert section. It's 11 p.m. now. Finally, one by one, every business and every restaurant has closed and everyone is starting to head back home. Look at this. Everyone is returning. It's completely empty now because all the businesses are shut. The curfew will start at 12 o'clock. Two guys just started walking towards me. They were wearing jackets, so I thought the police were coming to stop me or question me. Turns out they were subscribers. They were brothers and were from India. No idea how they were here. The streets have started to get quieter. Earlier, at least a few things were still open. Now everything is closed. People have been told to go back home. That's why they are standing outside now. Let's head back to the apartment too. Before the curfew starts, the weather has gotten a bit better now. Earlier it had started raining really heavily when we stepped out. Right now it's much better. I found a nice mirror here, so I thought I'd record a quick video of myself before heading back. Our building is somewhere here. On the left side, I think. Yeah, we've reached. We finally made it back to our apartment building. Let's go and check the shelter downstairs. Where was the shelter again? It's here before the stairs. Let's go inside this creepy shelter and see how it looks from the inside. It's warm in here. Give me a second. Let me show you again. Oh man, I just hit my head on the ceiling. It's so dark in here. So dark, I can't even explain it. I turned off the flash for a second and literally couldn't see anything. Nothing at all. Oh man, it's insanely hot down here. There are wires everywhere, probably for the heating supply. And yeah, this is what the bunker looks like from the inside. Can you feel the silence? Up ahead, there are more bunkers like this built out. And then this is the ceiling above. Honestly, this bunker feels really creepy. We're just not used to places like this, so being inside feels intense. If you walk in here with even a slightly negative thought in your mind, I swear you won't last even 5 seconds inside. It literally feels like we've walked into some horror movie location. Like, you wouldn't be surprised if ghosts started roaming around here. It gives you this weird, creepy vibe. Seriously scary. Let's go. So these bunkers in Ukraine are built to protect people from missile attacks, drone attacks, and bomb strikes. Right now, during this war, you'll find shelters everywhere in Ukraine. In every hotel, every train station, every building, pretty much everywhere. Every building and business has some kind of shelter. Whenever a missile attack is about to happen, most likely it gets detected on radar. As soon as the sirens go off in the city, people can run down into these shelters and hide. So at least the damage and risk to life is reduced. But Ukraine's system can't detect every single missile attack. So if there is a sudden blast nearby and a panic situation, people just run into these bunkers and take cover in the shelters to protect themselves from the attack.
Welcome home.
With that, let's end the day now. I'm going to take a shower, relax, drink some milk, and go to sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. So last night I promised you all that I would meet you in the morning from the Lviv city. But right now, where I actually am today and what happened with me, I'm going to tell you that now. It's extremely cold. And the temperature is around 0 degrees Celsius. Last night I ended the video and went to sleep, but generally whenever I travel somewhere, my motive is also to explore the city or place without the camera. So today was actually Sunday and the weather was amazing and sunny. It was raining at night, but today the weather was just beautiful. From my apartment window, the views of Lviv city, right in the center of the old town, were stunning. From the window, the view of the churches, the buildings and the architecture was absolutely insane. I spent quite some time just observing that view. After that, I went down into the city, walked around the old town, and explored the streets and alleys. And Sundays have actually become my favorite days because no one is in a hurry. People aren't rushing to get to work or rushing back home. Life feels very relaxed and I feel like people actually take their time to enjoy things. They enjoy moments. Life moves a bit slower, but it feels more meaningful. And on this Sunday, I walked through the street, saw some amazing views of the old town. Lviv's architecture felt very diverse to me. Somewhere it felt Gothic, somewhere classical. Right in the middle of the old town, a lot of people were walking around. Maybe there were almost no tourists, probably just people from other Ukrainian cities. Trams were passing through the streets. The views were really beautiful. And while exploring Lviv like this, the evening slowly came and it was time for me to reach Lviv's train station to catch my train. Actually, my train was from Lviv, crossing the border into Poland to the first Polish city called Przemyśl. Now, what actually happened at the border, I will talk about that in a bit. But my train was at 6:50 p.m. and to reach the railway station, I had come down to look for a bus. Trams were passing through the streets as usual. The views were amazing. You could see vans like the Soviet times parked around. I even missed one tram that was going towards the railway station. I was looking for a bus and then a guy came up. He was probably promoting Christianity. He even gave me a Hindi book and helped me catch the bus. Now I'm getting on the bus and heading towards Lviv's train station. On the way too, there are some really beautiful views. The bus ride itself was a pretty interesting journey. Eventually, I finally reached Lviv's train station. I got off the bus there. Now I was heading inside the train station. I reached the station and the next step was to find my platform. Finally, I made it to my platform. The train was probably 2 to 4 minutes late and my coach number is 8. And my seat number in the train was 20. So now I go and I sit on my seat. By 8:20 p.m. I was supposed to reach this Polish city, Przemyśl, at the train station. This was the last train from Ukraine, from Lviv, that would cross the border and drop me into Poland. Since there's a war going on in Ukraine, all their airports are closed. So the only way to leave the country is by crossing the border. And the most active and convenient border right now is the Poland-Ukraine border. You guys know when I entered Ukraine from the Moldova border, they made me sit at the border for 10 hours for interrogation. But now I had to leave the country no matter what, because today was the last day of my visa. And if I didn't cross the border before midnight, I had no idea what could happen to me. I took the 6:50 train, which was supposed to drop me in Przemyśl, Poland, and keep this in mind, this is the last train of the day going into Poland. And in this city, Przemyśl, the last train of the day from here leaves at 9:21 p.m. So that means I'll have roughly 1 full hour after getting off this train to catch the next train that will take me to Krakow, which is a major city in Poland. The distance wasn't much, so I thought we'd reach before 8 p.m., especially with the 1 hour time difference. I thought I'd have around 1 to 1.5 hours easily, enough time to catch the next train and reach Krakow without any stress. And there was absolutely no room to take any risks here. Anyway, I sit in the train. After some time, Ukrainian immigration officers, basically the border security police, came inside the train for immigration checks. So the train leaves Ukraine's last major city, Lviv, and the immigration officers board the train itself. They asked me for my visa, my e-visa. Obviously, an e-visa is electronic, so I showed it on my phone, but they said, you don't have a printed copy. Bring a printed copy next time. As if I'm coming back here day after tomorrow again. I was like, yes ma'am, I'll bring it next time. She checks my passport, goes through all the details, and then stamps it, basically clearing me to leave Ukraine. My visa was going to expire in just a few hours, and this was the last train of the day. After some time, we reached close to the Polish border and then crossed into Poland at the town of Medyka. Now, this Medyka town and the city of Przemyśl, where the train was supposed to stop, are the same places I came to around 3.5 years ago, when the war in Ukraine had just started and I was trying to enter Ukraine. Back then, I had come to Poland, to Przemyśl by bus. And from Przemyśl, I took a taxi to the Medyka border. But I couldn't cross into Ukraine at that time because of the war and because I didn't have special permission, so I had to turn back. Now, after crossing Medyka again, the train finally reaches Przemyśl. We were supposed to reach at 8:20, but the train arrived around 8:35 or 8:40. Still, I had about 40 to 45 minutes to catch the last train. People mostly come here either to go into Ukraine or while coming out of Ukraine, just for immigration. Ukrainian immigration was already done on the train, but Polish immigration still hadn't happened, which is EU's immigration. Ukraine is not part of the European Union or the Schengen area, but Poland is. So basically, Poland is the gateway for Ukrainians to access the rest of Europe. And during the war, so many people go into Europe as refugees, and they all have to pass through Poland. And since Polish immigration hadn't happened on the train, I thought it must be some big formal process, and I had no idea where or how it was going to happen. But as soon as I get off the train, onto the platform, and start walking forward, I see a lot of people ahead of me who also got off the train and are standing in a line. Then I look ahead and realize that customs and immigration are right there. And there's a huge crowd. And my next train is supposed to leave from the platform right next to this one in just 40 minutes. We were literally moving inch by inch. There were huge groups and only 2 or 3 immigration officer counters were open, handling everyone. And because so many people were entering Poland from Ukraine due to the war, they were doing extra checks. They were taking photos of people on their phones, especially Ukrainians. Most of the people were Ukrainians and mostly women. My train was supposed to leave at 9:21, and while I was still slowly moving forward in that line, I noticed it was already 9:20. And just a few seconds later, the train that was supposed to take me to Krakow, the last train of the day, passed right in front of my eyes and left the platform, and I was still stuck right there at immigration. Now I had no idea what was going to happen to me. By the time my turn finally came at immigration, it was already around 10 p.m. I went up, scanned my fingerprints in their machine that they had, and when they checked, my biometrics didn't match what was in my passport or in their system, so there was a big problem. They closed all the counters and everyone started looking at me like, okay, this Indian guy What do we do with him? They were talking in their own language. There were people behind me waiting for their turn, and because of me, everything got stuck. They were all thinking, what happened, what happened? But in the end, after a lot of effort and checking, my immigration was finally cleared. I stepped out of the Przemyśl railway station late at night. Outside, people were still standing in lines. Some of them were probably trying to go back into Ukraine, maybe to their homes and families, I'm not really sure. That line was obviously smaller, of the people going into Ukraine. But the crowd of people leaving Ukraine was massive compared to the ones going in. It was the exact same station around 3.5 years ago, but this time at night.
Przemyśl.
Just have a look here. Exactly 3.5 years ago from this same bus station, I had taken a bus in the afternoon to go back to Krakow. And now I'm wandering around the same bus station again, trying to go to Krakow once more. But there are no buses available. See guys, it's completely empty. There are buses here, but all of them leave tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out what to do. It's freezing, like really bad cold. I asked a couple of local taxi drivers how much it would cost to go from here to Krakow airport. The price they told me was 1100 Polish zloty, which is roughly about $300. Or around 250 euros. The next train from here is in the morning. The next one is at 5 a.m. There's no Flixbus either. The last Flixbus was at 9:45, and I missed that too while I was stuck in the immigration line. And you already know, the train that was supposed to take me to Krakow passed right in front of my eyes at 9:21 from the platform next to me. So now I am stuck in Przemyśl at night. I have no idea what to do or where to go. Last time I was here, there was just one hostel and I had stayed there. The time is now around 11:15 at night and the cold is brutal. There are no options left to go to Krakow from here. I'm hungry, I need to find food, and I'm also trying to find any bus or any kind of transport that I can get to go out of here. Guys, sometimes it really feels like the world is small. Exactly 3.5 years ago, back in August 2022, I was wandering on these same streets. I was looking for food and I came to this shop here called Samir Kebab. I remember there was a guy from Nepal working here and I ate kebabs from him. It was nighttime, nothing was open, and you know how cold it was, around -1 degree. I was roaming on this exact street just trying to find something to eat, and that's when this shop caught my eye. I didn't even realize it was the same shop. I just walked straight inside. And when I came in, I suddenly realized, wait, I think I've been here before. Then I checked my phone gallery and saw a photo from 3 years ago, and I had taken that photo inside this exact same shop. What a small world. This is such a big planet. In the last 3 years, I've traveled through South America, Central America, North America, the Caribbean, literally all around the world. And I randomly walk into a shop and then realize that in this tiny town, in this tiny little shop, I had eaten here before 3 or 4 years ago. This world is unreal, man. My kebab is being made right now. I'm waiting for it. But seriously, this world is amazing. It was really cold and I had a few snacks in my bag that I started eating, but I didn't have the energy to cook anything. That kebab at least helped me survive for a bit. There was this older lady there and she felt quite rude to me too. When I asked her if I could use the bathroom, she started shouting something in Polish and I don't know why. There was an Indian guy standing there as well, but anyway. I came back out from that kebab shop onto the streets of Przemyśl. Yeah, it's now around 1:45 a.m. and the temperature is probably around -2 degrees, maybe even lower. It might drop to -3 soon. It's really cold. I honestly don't know what to do. Either I'll try to find some place and spend the night there, or I have no idea. The trains will start running again around 4 or 5 a.m. from the station. Whatever happens, I'll end this video right here. This was my experience of Ukraine. It was really fun, really interesting, and very unique. And however it was, I really enjoyed traveling there. I went at a time when hardly any tourists were coming, and that made my experience very different and unique. And would I ever go back to Ukraine again? Honestly, I had a lot of problems at the border both times. In 2022, when I tried to enter, again in 2025 when I entered, and even while leaving, there was so much hassle and inconvenience. But I still feel that even after all that effort, I didn't spend enough time in that country. So yeah, I would definitely go back again and make some really good memories. And let's end this exhausting but amazing Ukraine journey on a positive note. You learn a lot from this. And with that said, we're going to wrap up this video and this entire series right here in this moment. I don't know which video I'll meet you in next, which country, which city or which continent. Even I don't know. But I'll definitely try to meet you again soon, somewhere in the world, maybe in some other corner or maybe somewhere close to here. Anyway, this series ends here. I don't really know what I'm going to do right now, what I'll do tomorrow or where I'll go in the next few days or weeks, but I'll definitely go somewhere because home is where I lay my head. Goodbye.